The massive spacecraft hung silently above Earth's atmosphere, its metallic surface reflecting the sunlight like a mirror of cold, calculated destruction. Inside the United Nations Emergency Conference Room, Jay Park sat quietly, his fingers moving swiftly across a quantum tablet. Around him, world leaders and military commanders watched with a mixture of fear and determination. Commander Kralax of the Stellar Dominion spoke, his voice a deep rumble that seemed to vibrate through the conference room walls. "Humans," he began, "your civilization has reached a critical moment. We have observed your planet for decades, and we find you lacking." Hana Kim, the lead strategic coordinator, remained perfectly still. Her eyes never left the alien commander, a slight muscle twitching at the corner of her jaw being the only sign of her rising tension. "Your technological capabilities are primitive," Kralax continued, spreading a holographic display that showed Earth's current military and technological capabilities. Red markers highlighted apparent weaknesses, technological gaps, and strategic vulnerabilities. "We offer you one choice: complete submission or total elimination." In the back of the room, Jay's fingers never stopped moving. While others listened in shocked silence, he was already designing countermeasures, his mind racing through possibilities faster than anyone could imagine. The alien delegation looked almost bored. They had done this hundreds of times before, arriving at developing planets, presenting an ultimatum, watching civilizations crumble. Their previous encounters had always followed the same pattern: initial resistance followed by quick surrender. But they didn't understand humans. Hana Kim finally spoke, her voice calm and measured. "And what makes you believe we will simply surrender?" Kralax laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "Your weapons are centuries behind our technology. Your defensive systems are laughable. We have conquered civilizations far more advanced than yours in mere hours." What the aliens didn't see was the network of researchers, scientists and military strategists already mobilizing. In underground facilities, in university laboratories, in secret military installations, humans were beginning to move. Jay Park looked up from his tablet, making brief eye contact with Hana. A slight nod passed between them, a communication more powerful than words. The alien commander continued his presentation, showing images of their previous conquests. Entire planetary systems reduced to dust, civilizations erased in moments. Each image was designed to crush hope, to demonstrate the futility of resistance. But humans are not easily crushed. In that moment, something fundamental was happening. The world was uniting in a way it never had before. Political differences, national boundaries, historical conflicts, all of these were becoming meaningless in the face of this external threat. "You have 24 hours to make your decision," Kralax announced, signaling the end of the meeting. As the alien delegation prepared to leave, no one in the room felt defeated. Instead, a strange energy was building, a combination of determination, anger, and an unbreakable spirit of resistance. Jay Park continued working on his tablet. Lines of code were taking shape, quantum algorithms designing themselves at speeds that would have been impossible just months ago. He was creating something the aliens would never expect. Hana Kim was already coordinating with global military and scientific leaders. Emergency protocols were being activated. Resources were being redirected. An entire planet was preparing for a fight that most would have considered impossible. The spacecraft remained hovering, a silent threat against the blue and green planet below. Its presence was meant to be intimidating, a show of overwhelming force. But what the Stellar Dominion didn't understand was the nature of human resilience. Humans do not break easily. When threatened, they adapt. When challenged, they innovate. And when pushed into a corner, they become something entirely unexpected. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the conference room, a new chapter in human history was about to begin. The 24-hour countdown had started, and the entire planet was preparing in ways the aliens could never comprehend. Jay continued coding. Hana continued planning. And somewhere, in laboratories and military bases around the world, humanity was getting ready to show an alien civilization exactly what they were made of. The world moved differently in those 72 hours. Universities transformed into research hubs, military bases became hives of intense activity, and every scientific facility worked with a single purpose. Jay Park's team occupied a hidden underground complex, their fingers flying across holographic displays and quantum computers. Wu Choi, the lead AI researcher, had not slept in 3 days. His neural network system was processing alien communication patterns at speeds that defied human understanding. Each second brought new insights, new potential weaknesses in the alien technology. "We need to think differently," Hana Kim announced during an emergency global strategy meeting. Her voice carried a calm that belied the massive transformation happening around her. Countries that had been rivals weeks ago now shared every piece of technological information they had. In a research facility in Seoul, a team of engineers worked on adaptive drone technology. These were not ordinary drones. They were living machines that could change their structure, their communication protocols, their very purpose within milliseconds. Each drone was essentially a small intelligent computer capable of learning and adapting faster than any biological intelligence. Jay discovered something extraordinary in the alien communication logs. Their technological systems, despite appearing advanced, had a fundamental weakness. They relied on predictable communication patterns. Humans, with their chaotic and unpredictable nature, could exploit this perfectly. Military installations around the world began preparing in ways no one had ever imagined. Soldiers were not just training with weapons, but with complex psychological warfare techniques. They studied alien communication, behavioral patterns, and technological systems. In a secret facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, quantum computing experts worked on a revolutionary communication disruptor. This wasn't just a weapon, it was a complete communication ecosystem designed to turn the aliens' own technology against them. Universities emptied their research budgets. Every department, from physics to psychology, was now focused on one goal: understanding the alien threat and developing countermeasures. Graduate students worked alongside senior researchers, their combined knowledge creating something unprecedented. Satellite networks were reconfigured. Communication systems were redesigned. Every piece of technology on the planet was being transformed into a potential defensive tool. Wu Choi's AI system began developing something remarkable. It wasn't just analyzing alien communication, it was learning to predict and manipulate their technological systems. Each algorithm was a potential weapon, each line of code a strategic move in a global chess game. Hana Kim coordinated everything. Her ability to see connections, to understand complex systems, made her the perfect strategic commander. She connected research teams, military units, and technological experts into a single, unified network. The world was no longer divided. National boundaries meant nothing in the face of this threat. A researcher in Brazil could instantly share information with a military unit in Japan. A quantum physicist in Russia could collaborate with an AI expert in the United States. Jay Park's team developed adaptive communication encryption that could change its own protocols faster than any system could track. It was like creating a language that rewrote itself constantly, making interception impossible. In those 72 hours, humanity transformed. They were no longer separate countries or cultures. They were a single unified species with one goal: survival. The alien spacecraft still hung in the sky, a constant reminder of the approaching threat. But beneath it, on the planet's surface, something was brewing. A response that the stellar Dominion could never have anticipated. Humanity was preparing. And they were preparing to fight in ways no one could predict. As the final hours of the countdown approached, a strange energy filled the air. Not fear, not panic, but a cold, calculated determination. The aliens thought they were dealing with a primitive species. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The first alien attack came without warning. Massive energy beams sliced through Earth's atmosphere, targeting major cities with calculated precision. But what the stellar Dominion didn't realize was that humanity had been waiting. Jay Park's fingers danced across the quantum control panel. The moment the first energy beam approached, adaptive defense systems activated. Entire city blocks transformed. Buildings shifted. Electromagnetic shields emerged from hidden structures, and advanced drone networks took to the sky. Commander Krelax watched in disbelief as his primary attack strategy failed completely. Where he expected total destruction, he found resistance. Worse than resistance, he found adaptation. The first wave of alien fighters encountered something they had never seen before. Human drones didn't just defend, they attacked. Each drone was a living weapon, capable of changing its strategy milliseconds after the first engagement. They moved like a living organism, unpredictable and relentless. Hana Kim's voice echoed through global communication networks. Target their communication systems, disrupt their coordination. Wu Choi's AI had prepared for this moment. The neural networks had analyzed every possible alien communication protocol. As the first alien ships attempted to coordinate their attack, they found their systems compromised. Messages became garbled. Strategic commands turned into nonsense. In Tokyo, an alien landing team discovered that the city itself was a weapon. Buildings reconfigured, creating impossible defensive positions. Underground systems transformed into complex defensive networks. Streets became labyrinths that changed faster than any invasion strategy could predict. The psychological warfare was even more devastating. Human communication systems broadcast specific frequencies designed to create confusion and fear. The alien soldiers found themselves experiencing emotional responses they couldn't understand. Doubt, hesitation, fear. Jay's communication disruptor worked perfectly. Each alien technological advantage was turned into a weakness. Their advanced weapons became complex puzzles that worked against them. Their communication networks became traps. In the skies above major cities, a dance of destruction began. Alien fighters found themselves fighting not just human technology, but human unpredictability. Every time they thought they understood the pattern, everything changed. Commander Krelax screamed orders, but his communication systems were failing. The humans had done something impossible. They had turned the aliens' own technology against them. Satellite networks became weapons. Communication systems transformed into attack platforms. Every piece of human technology was now part of a global defense mechanism. The aliens had expected a quick victory. Instead, they found a nightmare of adaptation and resistance. In underground facilities, researchers continued their work. Each moment of the battle provided new data, new opportunities to understand and counter alien technology. What was happening wasn't just a battle. It was a complete technological revolution. Hana Kim's strategy was simple but devastating. Don't just defend. Attack. Learn. Adapt. The first strike was more than a battle. It was a message. Humanity would not be conquered. Humanity would not surrender. As the first alien ships began to retreat, something became clear. This was not a war that would be won with traditional weapons. This was a war of intelligence, of adaptation, of pure human determination. Jay Park watched the battle unfold, his quantum tablet showing the complex dance of technology and strategy. They had passed the first test, but he knew this was just the beginning. Commander Krelax's final transmission was filled with confusion and fear. The Stellar Dominion had never encountered a species like this before, a species that didn't just fight, a species that transformed the very nature of conflict. The first strike was complete. Humanity had not just survived. They had shown the universe something fundamental about their nature. The world changed faster than anyone could have imagined. What began as a defensive strategy became a technological revolution that transformed human civilization overnight. Jay Park's research team worked around the clock, turning every alien technological fragment into a new opportunity. Wu Choi's AI systems had begun something unprecedented. They weren't just analyzing alien technology, they were completely reimagining what technology could be. Each captured alien system became a puzzle, then a weapon, then something entirely new. Military bases around the world looked more like advanced research centers. Soldiers were no longer just fighters. They were part of a global technological ecosystem. Every piece of equipment, every communication system, became adaptive and intelligent. Hana Kim's strategic approach went beyond traditional warfare. She understood that this conflict was about more than fighting. It was about complete technological transformation. Human potential was being unlocked at an impossible rate. Quantum computing networks spread across the planet like a living organism. Research facilities that once worked in isolation now shared information instantaneously. A breakthrough in one laboratory became a global resource within seconds. The aliens had brought advanced technology, but they didn't understand the most important human trait: creativity. Where alien systems were rigid and predictable, human technology became fluid and unpredictable. Jay discovered something remarkable in the alien communication logs. Their technological systems had a fundamental weakness. They couldn't handle true randomness. Humans, with their chaotic and unpredictable nature, could exploit this perfectly. Drone technology evolved beyond recognition. These were no longer simple flying machines. They became living, thinking systems that could change their entire purpose in milliseconds. One moment a defensive shield, the next a precision attack weapon. In underground facilities, researchers worked on technologies that would have seemed like science fiction weeks ago. Neural interfaces that could connect human minds directly to advanced computing systems. Adaptive materials that could change their molecular structure on demand. Wu Choi's AI began developing something unprecedented. A communication system that was alive. It wasn't just a technology. It was a thinking, evolving organism that could predict and counter alien communication attempts before they even happened. Military training transformed completely. Soldiers learned to work with intelligent systems that anticipated their needs. Weapon systems became extensions of human thought, adapting faster than any biological intelligence could process. The global response was unlike anything in human history. Countries that were once rivals now worked as a single, unified technological organism. A researcher in Brazil could instantly collaborate with a military unit in Japan, sharing information and developing strategies in real time. Hana Kim's strategic brilliance became the stuff of legend. She wasn't just coordinating a defense. She was orchestrating a complete technological transformation of human civilization. Every alien attack became an opportunity to learn, to grow, to become something more. Jay Park's team developed communication, encryption that was essentially a living language. It could change its own protocols faster than any system could track. Each communication became a complex, evolving puzzle that was impossible to crack. The aliens had brought advanced technology, expecting to find a primitive species. Instead, they discovered a civilization that could adapt faster than they could attack. Every technological advantage they thought they had was quickly turned against them. Satellite networks became intelligent defense systems. Communication platforms transformed into attack networks. The entire planet was becoming a single adaptive technological organism. Quantum computers developed algorithms that could predict alien strategy with impossible accuracy. What once took months of analysis now happened in milliseconds. The humans were no longer just defending, they were anticipating. As the technological evolution continued, something fundamental changed. This was no longer just a war. This was a complete transformation of what it meant to be a technological civilization. The aliens had made a critical mistake. They thought technology was something you owned. Humans understood that technology was something you became. Jay looked at the complex holographic displays, watching as human technology continued to evolve. They were creating something the universe had never seen before, a technological intelligence that was truly alive. The technological evolution was complete. Humanity was no longer just fighting. They were transforming. The final battle wasn't a battle in the traditional sense. It was a complete dismantling of the alien military infrastructure, a surgical strike of intelligence and technological precision that would be remembered throughout the universe. Jay Park sat in the central command center, his quantum tablet showing a three-dimensional map of alien fleet movements. But these weren't just movements. They were a complex dance that humans were orchestrating with mathematical perfection. Hana Kim's voice remained calm. "Execute primary protocol," she said, and the entire planet moved as a single organism. Wu. Choi's AI systems had been preparing for this moment. They had analyzed every possible alien communication protocol, every potential defensive strategy. The result was total technological domination that went beyond human understanding. The first wave of the human response was psychological. Alien communication networks suddenly became impossible to navigate. Their strategic systems collapsed from within, transforming into complex puzzles that drove their commanders into complete confusion. Quantum computers predicted alien movements seconds before they happened. Adaptive drone networks transformed entire battlefield landscapes in milliseconds. Where the aliens expected resistance, they found a living, thinking technological ecosystem. Commander Krelax watched in horror as his entire invasion strategy collapsed. The humans weren't just defending. They were deconstructing alien technology faster than it could be implemented. Every weapon became a liability. Every communication, a potential trap. Satellite networks turned into precision weapons. Communication systems became attack platforms. The entire planet had transformed into a single, intelligent defensive mechanism that anticipated and neutralized threats before they could fully form. The alien fleet found itself fighting against something it couldn't comprehend. Human technology wasn't just advanced, it was alive. Each drone, each communication system, each defensive mechanism was a thinking, evolving entity that learned and adapted faster than any biological intelligence. Jay's communication disruptors worked with impossible efficiency. Alien ships found their systems compromised, their strategic commands turning into meaningless noise. Their most advanced technologies became complex puzzles that worked against them. Hana Kim's strategic brilliance became legendary in those moments. She didn't just coordinate a defense. She orchestrated a complete technological takedown that dismantled the alien military infrastructure piece by piece. The psychological warfare was even more devastating. Humans broadcast specific frequencies that created confusion and fear among alien forces. Their most advanced soldiers found themselves experiencing emotional responses they couldn't understand or control. Underground research facilities continued their work even during the final confrontation. Each moment of the battle provided new data, new opportunities to understand and completely neutralize alien technology. Wu Choi's AI systems had become something beyond artificial intelligence. They were living technological organisms that could predict, adapt, and counter alien strategies in real time. What took months of analysis now happened in milliseconds. The final blow wasn't a weapon. It was a complete technological transformation that showed the universe the true potential of human innovation. Commander Krelax's final transmission was a chilling acknowledgement of human superiority. "They are not a species," his garbled message read. "They are a force of nature." As the last alien ships were systematically dismantled, something fundamental changed. Humanity had not just defended itself. It had shown the universe a new way of existing, a technological intelligence that was truly alive. Jay Park watched the final moments of the confrontation, his quantum tablet showing the complete collapse of alien military infrastructure. They had done more than win a war. They had transformed the very nature of technological conflict. The victory was total, complete, absolute. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and they had arrived with a message that would be remembered for generations. When pushed, humans don't just resist, they evolve, they transform, they become something entirely unexpected.